Hello and welcome. You're watching Live with Matthew, and today I'm going to be reviewing the MyArcade Cartridge Converter, which is this guy right here. It's a real simple device that it takes the 60-pin Famicom cartridge and converts it to a 72-pin Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge for your front loader or top loader NES here in the United States. So let's take a closer look at this and find out, was this a good product or was it somewhat lacking? Okay, so obviously I don't have the original box that this came in. I've been using this for about a month now, and I've just misplaced the box it came in, but it was your standard cardboard box, just barely bigger than the plastic sleeve you see here. It had a little tab at the top that you could use to hang it on a hanger for a big box store. So, nothing amazing, but this plastic sleeve is going to keep this cartridge converter just fun and safe as it ships from whatever warehouse you buy it in and get it to your house. So it does come with the MyArcade Cartridge Converter and a Cartridge Converter user guide. So let's take a look at this real quick. Okay, so it shows you the steps for how to insert your Famicom game. You just put it in with the label facing the front side of the Cartridge Converter, and you just push it down right into place, and then you can put it into your front loader NES or top loader too. It's going to work for both. It does have a short FAQ. If it says your game's not being detected, make sure that you're putting the game cartridge in the correct way. The sticker label on the cartridge should face the same direction as the MyArcade logo, which you see right here. So this should be pointing up in your front loader NES. Will this game play in English or provide subtitles? I can't believe people have to provide this, but I mean, hey, people are going to think maybe if they get this, they get English subtitles, but no, absolutely not. This only converts it from the 60-pin Famicom into the 72-pin NES that you have in North America. Will this work on the second generation NES? That would be the top loader, and yeah, it's going to work just fine. There's no problems there. My Famicom game got stuck in the converter. How do I remove this? I'm going to be talking about that one because this is actually my second MyArcade cartridge converter, so we will definitely be talking about this. But they claim that it is an uncommon occurrence, but if it should happen, remove the game slowly by removing one corner at a time. And how do you clean your cartridge converter? You pour just a little bit of the contact cleaner or head cleaner into a bottle cap or dish, dip the cotton swab in the cleaner, and then rub the converter contacts on both sides, wipe clean and dry with the cotton swab. You know what? I think that is horrible advice. I think if you do that, you're going to get a lot of cotton fibers stuck inside this the 60-pin cartridge slot adapter. And even if you try to do it on the 72-pin side, I think you're still going to get a lot of cotton swab fibers stuck in there. So honestly, I disagree with how they suggest cleaning it. I much more would say that you should use a Q-tip. Those are much less likely to leave a bunch of fibers behind. And even then, that's only for the cartridge selector side. It's only for the 72-pin side. I would absolutely not use a Q-tip in the 60-pin cartridge slot. That would just be a recipe for disaster. Not only would you leave fibers behind, but you'd probably ruin your pins. You'd probably bend them all over the place. So I'd much sooner recommend like a 1-up card that is specifically designed for cleaning these exact kind of slots. So I very much disagree with them on that. And then warranty information, I don't really care about that. Some service information, it comes with a 120-day warranty policy and the numbers to contact them at. Okay, so that's neat. So let's actually take a look at this. So like I said, this is my second cartridge adapter from MyArcade, and it's kind of easy to get into, kind of not. First, there's just 4 basic Phillip head screws that you have to take out, but then they have these annoying locking tabs, and guys, help me out here. If anyone knows how to easily remove this type of locking tab, where in theory, you're supposed to just push down right there and get it past this little lip and it will unlock. I have never been able to get this to work without breaking off that little part right there. So if you know of a good way to actually get this to come apart, there is one on both sides, and I would be having to apply pressure outward from the center in order to get this to release. And honestly, when I was trying to do this last time, I ended up giving a giant cut down my finger because my precision screwdriver slipped, and I ended up cutting my finger wide open. But thankfully it did heal up, and there's only the tiniest of scars still there. But on the inside, this is what you're going to find. This is, pretty basic thing. I'm not sure where they're getting this edge adapter from, but it's not the best. Okay, let me just get this elephant out of the room right now. If you look in there, you might be able to see that there is a deformed pin there. It sticks out too far. One there, one there. This one is buggered up as well. I had to push this one back while I was doing testing because I was noticing that while I was trying to figure out the pin placements here, I was getting continuity between my 5 volts and ground pins, and it was messing up me trying to figure out which pin went where. So I realized that there was making contact in here because these pins are too close together. Whenever I put my game in, I physically could not remove it, and it wasn't until I started looking this cartridge slot that I realized these pins, they're way too tight. I'm not sure what they did for their tolerance measurements, but this is the wrong tolerance to be using for Famicom games, for Nintendo games. So that's my biggest complaint about this, that it is a death grip on your games. Beyond that, I did some testing, and you may notice there's some little black smudges there, which I can erase off now. I just use dry erase marker. They've actually labeled this wrong. They say that this is pin 1 and this is pin 36. It's backwards. Pin 36 is over here, pin 1 is over there, and then again on this side, pin 37 is over here and 72 is over here. So they just have this labeled completely wrong. That's a minor thing, but it is still a thing that happens. If you have a Famicom game with expanded audio, you're going to want to know, can you natively play this out of the box with your expanded audio? Because maybe you've done the mod that uses expansion port 6 and routes that over to your RF input. The answer is no. Unfortunately, this device, you will have to mod it. I'm not going to mod this one. I'm not going to show you how to do it. I will probably do a follow-up video whenever I open up this one and apply some expansion audio tricks to that. But for this one, I'm not going to do that right now. But it's very simple. All you do is over here, you take pin 45 and you would connect it down to pin 54. In fact, you'd probably want to bridge, I believe it's 44 and 45 together. Hold on a second, let me do some editing real quick. And actually, you know what? It's just going to appear right on the screen, say here. It will say the exact 2 pins that you need to solder together on this side. And what that does is it's going to bridge your A203 expansion audio into your audio going to the RF output. And so once you bridge that, you'd come down to pin, I believe it's 54 on this side, and that would be expansion port 6. And then you'd have to do some soldering on the NES. So I'll show you how to do that in a future video, but just keep in mind, you would be bridging 2 of these points together and then a wire coming down to 54. And that would keep it in the same standard that flash cartridge, such as the EverDrive or the Power Pack, that's the standard they use. They come down to expansion pin 6, or excuse me, expansion 6, which is pin 9. You'll see in the future video. Don't worry about it too much. I'll show you how to do that some other time. So that's a minor nitpick. I do wish that more of these converters out of the box were providing that expansion audio mod, but I understand why they don't. And then finally, you just have your CIC lockout chip, which they're just using a PIC controller to kind of simulate it. And that's the kind of an accepted way of doing things now. So beyond that, board's in fine condition. I did see that on several of these solder pads, there was just some kind of leftover gunk. You can see kind of some white gunk left over on them. So anyway, let me show you the second one I got, because this one, like I said, this one is no good. They sent me a second one. Forgot to return the first one. That's why I still have it out here. But the second one, let's see if I can't get a good angle there. Second one, it came in just fine. So what I have here is I have my versions of Zoid. This is Chaotic Continent. It's a fun enough game, which I will do a video on this later because there was no English translation. So I translated it myself. Or I didn't translate it myself. Someone else translated it, and then I did all the patching to the ROM so that you could play it. Anyone who has this game, I got a ROM patch for you if you want that. So this really is nice and simple. You just put it in from the back, clicks in. Your game is now ready to go. Now even this one still takes a fair, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm gonna break it. Look at it, I mean, that still takes a fair amount of force to get it apart. And honestly, every time I look at this pin, I'm like, did I break this? Are these pins getting warped? Am I destroying my Am I destroying this card edge adapter? I think I am. Like, honestly, I wouldn't want to use this too much because you saw how much force I had to use to get that to come apart. I'm worried that I am utterly destroying my adapter here. Gosh, I can't recommend it too much on that reason alone. But let me go ahead and plug it into my NES and let's see how this looks. So this is just saying you need to go see the president. Go talk to him first. And I'm absolutely not going to talk to the president first. Got him. Enemy defeated. Okay, so you can see that this is a fun game. It's a RPG game. As you defeat your enemies, you level up, get stronger, you find parts to upgrade your Zoid. It's a real fun game. Alright, so as you can see, this technically does a decent enough job to convert your 60-pin into your 72-pin for US North American consoles for the NES. But I mean, guys, seriously, look at this. You gotta, my goodness. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm ripping the whole thing apart. I can't even get this stupid thing. I gotta push it up against my chest and work it back and forth. You hear that snap? I'm gonna break everything. I feel like everything's shattering when I pull it out. So look, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, I can't recommend this product. This product is absolutely ripping my cartridge connector to shreds. Now, I do like the fact that this product, it's pretty cheap. It was not a super expensive design. It wasn't a very expensive converter. There's a lot more expensive ones out there. I also like the fact that you saw whenever this was together, and I'm not pushing it back on there. I'm just gonna put it there so you can see. Or am I? Let me get it in right. There we go. So as you can see, I love the fact that this fits your front loader NES. So if you haven't installed the Blinking Light Win kit yet, which, yes, Gary at Rock Solid Productions, I know the name of it now. The Blinking Light Win kit. If you haven't installed it, then you want something like this. Because what this will allow you to do, it will allow you to put your game in, push down, which is what the front loader NES needs, and then close your lid behind it. And it's going to fit perfectly such that you can use your games. Now, unfortunately, not all Famicom games are this size, and so if you have some of the games that were extra long, this ain't gonna work. It's not gonna fit inside your front loader NES, and it won't fit inside this guy at all. So those are my two main complaints about it, that it's not universal, you can't use it for all the Famicom games, and the biggest one, obviously, is that it's going to destroy your games. It absolutely is just going to rip up those connectors on the bottom of your game. So, unfortunately, sorry, my arcade, you got some more work to do. You need to find a cartridge connector that has just a little bit better tolerances, because you are gripping that way too tight. I don't have any complaints about the 72-pin side. That made a good connection, and I was able to remove it without any problem. So on that side, you're perfect, but on your pins, you got work to do. Well, that's my take on the My Arcade 60 to 72-pin cartridge converter. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's not ready for prime time. If you're enjoying these videos, then I hope you'll consider becoming one of my Patreons, and at the very least, I hope that you'll like, comment, and share this video amongst your friends, and if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. And as always, may the Lord bless and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.